Hey, church family, Pastor Dan again. Last week we introduced you to a very special missionary family, Tom and Brooke Harshberger from our home church here in North Central Church, and they are missionaries all the way in Northern Ireland. What can we do for you guys? I know you could use us to pray for you by name, pray for specific things that God would continue to expand and order your steps and so on, but anything else come to mind?
I think prayer is probably the biggest thing, and I think even just letting us know that you're praying, I think that's really helpful for us. You know, we are in terms of the Assemblies of God World Missions and our organization that sends us. We are the only people from our organization for 3 hours. Both of us, it's two of us and one girl that lives about 3 hours from us west of here, that's in Northern Ireland, and we're it for the entire country. And so that in itself is a little lonely, but on top of it you got COVID, on top of it you got everything we've gone through. So I would say for across the board, for every missionary that you support as a church, just being willing to reach out and just send a message on Facebook or on Instagram, just, hey, how you doing? We just want to pray for you. I think we don't realize how lonely many of the missionaries are around the world that we support and the AGWM sends out. There's lots of missionaries that have teams. We aren't a part of a team, and there's missionaries like us all over Europe, all over the world, that are kind of solo, going do their own thing. And I know from our experience it gets lonely, and so just messages and all that kind of stuff, I think, is huge for us.
Yeah. Call your missionaries. Yeah. Call them. Yeah. Even if you think you're being annoying, just call them again, because they're lonely.
Yeah, it's tempting to believe that missionaries are so engaged and so busy. They really have their lives, all their connecting points are full, and that yours would be like just a tiny little blip or a little drop in the bucket rather than a life-giving connection. It's so easy to think, and I think people feel the same way about church leaders, pastors at churches, that your life calendar, schedule, and bucket must be so full. I wouldn't ever expect that my little drip would make a difference. And really the opposite is true. It's a small little platform to stand on, in leadership, and it's probably more lonely than people could imagine, especially when you guys are going through something that's so hard to relate to other people and other people to relate to as well. So
yeah, it feels like oftentimes it feels like, even like conversations like this that we're having right now, like you feel like you're standing with your nose up against the wall when you're in it and you're doing ministry and you're in the country that you're working in. But then whenever you get a message or you have a conversation with someone that's home, it's almost like you get to take a couple steps back and see what's actually happening and get some perspective and some encouragement. And you realize you aren't alone. You never were alone. But it's just this encouraging, just the encouragement to know that you aren't doing this by yourself in some foreign country that you've never,
I would also say, for obviously a lot of people are grieving this year, and for us, I kind of feel, we joke about this, but it's also true. I feel like people see us and it's almost like they see a bear, like they're like, what do we say? Oh no. Or they see us and they start crying, which people do that just, I think, just because they love us and they feel bad, which is fine. But if I could say to anyone, if you have friends who are grieving, or if you have friends who've lost someone, they want you with them more than they would want you not to speak to them. Right. So obviously be careful what you say. It's really easy to say the wrong thing when someone's grieving, but anyone can, sit next to someone or just call them and be like, hey, I love you and I'm so sorry. Or just, hey, this funny thing happened today that has to do with your friends who are grieving would always rather have you just sit next to them than not contact them at all.
Yeah.
So
one more thing that you can do to support us is to get on YouTube and subscribe to Party Create.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Tom. I was one of the original subscribers and I didn't get my founder's gift yet. I don't know if it's COVID. Is it the supply chain? Is it? Is it the COVID supply chain is slowed down? I mean,
I'll bring one of these home for you.
We're bringing one of those.
Yeah.
look at, I would drink anything out of a mug like that. I'm so proud.
I hope you've enjoyed getting to know Tom and Brooke Harshberger. We've been interviewing them and listening and learning about who they are, some of the obstacles that they have faced out there in Northern Ireland in 2020, and also about the opportunity that God has provided for them to start a children's ministry. The journey doesn't stop now. They need your love, they need your support. Obviously, they need our prayer, and I want to encourage you and challenge you to be a part of supporting them as their home church here in North Central Church. You can find them on northcentral.org. They're in our missionary page. It will have all the ways to contact them, support them, let them know that you're with them, let them know that you're thinking about them and praying about them, and don't hesitate for 1 second to represent the body of Christ, supporting them financially to help carry them into the work that they're doing, that God has uniquely set aside for them. He reaches the people in Northern Ireland through the local church here in North Syracuse, and it's an honor to be a part of it. I invite you to join us in all the work that goes into loving, supporting, praying for, and caring for one of our missionaries who are all by themselves on the field.